James has fearful temper in a form of self-distrust. And he can learn to trust himself if he starts giving himself a pat on the back for the effort. And this is called endorsement. Endorse himself for the effort that he's making. And this will interrupt the vicious cycle of blaming, putting himself down, and feeling guilt and shame. With a calm brain, there is no chance of a sustained panic. And becoming objective, looking at the realistic facts of the situation, exchanging insecure thoughts for secure thoughts, realizing the axiom, repeating like a mantra, this is distressing but not dangerous, until you realize that 95% of daily routine is in fact trivial. Threat to social personality, we're worried about how we're perceived. And this is trivial in the vast scheme of things. And if we're working on a job or indoor school, we've been there for years or days or weeks, and we know the pattern, and yet we're stressing ourselves out every day by what we say to ourselves. It's all about the internal dialogue. A thought produced it, a thought can drop it. Think about any feeling you have. You can't feel happy unless you have a thought. You cannot feel sad unless you have a thought that encourages a feeling or provokes a feeling of sadness. But we have control over our thoughts and impulses. And with our thoughts and impulses, we can diminish, work ourselves down. We can work the stress down instead of working it up. Objectivity terminates a panic. That's why we seek to be realistic. That's why we spot our symptoms and apply the appropriate axiom. To become objective, this has a calming effect. A decision steadies us, Eve tells us, and that is true. So we make a decision, we decide, we plan, and then we use our muscles to carry out those decisions and those plans. Now, there might be fearful temper attached to that. Oh, what if I make a mistake? Decisions are not carved in stone. You can change and modify the decision as the situation demands. Understanding that has a further calming effect. Endorse for your efforts, Eve. Phantom checks in on this example and says, James can endorse for doing the thing he fears to do. He can lower his standards so his performance can rise. It is average to have fearful anticipation about new occupations. Normal, average, routine. These are universals that people experience. So it's nothing at all to be excited about. Anticipation of event is often worse than the actual event. And Phantom expresses this in the sentence, anticipation is often worse than realization. So it's the fearful anticipation of an event can be more or worse than the actual experience of the event. Dear One checks in on this post, and Dear One says, hello, James. James can endorse for the good average job of spotting he has done. He has his health in mind and is making a business of his mental health. He's not playing at his mental health. He's not sitting there and complaining and whining and woe is me and why does nothing ever work and what can I do? No, he's applying the axioms. He's exchanging insecure thoughts for secure thoughts. He's using the axioms and telling himself this is distressing but not dangerous. He's moving his muscles. He's becoming a realist and looking at the realistic facts of the situation. He's making his business his mental health. He's not playing at it. Dear One says, I spot fearful anticipation. You notice how these people well versed in applying the method are spotting the same things, how James is working himself up and what he can do to work himself down. We can anticipate some possible discomfort, but we shouldn't anticipate with fear or with danger to normal events, that is. It would be silly never to anticipate danger. So what Dear One is saying here, I spot fearful anticipation. He's fearfully anticipating the future. We can anticipate while we're uncomfortable. We can anticipate while we're experiencing discomfort. But we don't necessarily need to fearfully anticipate. So that's an insecure thought. We can dispel that by looking for the secure thought and to replace that insecure thought of fear about the upcoming situation. That way we can lower that, dispel that, and now with the secure thought replacing the insecure thought, we can anticipate with calm, with realism, objectivity, and see that we have nothing to fear after all, but fear itself. Nervous patients and people suffering from stress tend to feel uncomfortable with change, and this will be a change for James. So this tells us this is a routine, normal event that people go through. Anyone would feel uncomfortable with change. So I'm not alone again. I'm experiencing a universal. His symptoms are distressing but not dangerous. He can do what he fears and hates to do in order to get well. And to clarify that axiom, it actually goes and encompasses a little bit more. Don't wait to feel well to do things. Do things in order to feel well. And what do? Apply the axioms. Now replace the insecure thoughts with secure thoughts. Realize this is distressing but not dangerous. Realize this is a routine daily event, nothing at all to be excited about. Something that people undergo on an average daily. He can do what he hates and fears to do in order to get well, and he can do things in part acts. Notice how each person well versed in the recovery method, the self-talk method, makes the same spot and takes the same actions in spotting on this example. Marcia, I spot for James, nervous patients are capable. I spot for James, nervous patients are a capable lot and capable of a lot. Wonderful axiom to remind us that we can function in spite of the way we're feeling. Another axiom. I don't have to feel well in order to do something. I can function in spite of the way I'm feeling, and I don't have to act the way I feel. So, nervous patients, people suffering from stress, are capable a lot and capable of a lot if they do not paralyze themselves with fear, Marcia adds. Nervous persons and people suffering from stress dread change. Well, I hope the information provided on today's show you'll find useful in your day-to-day life. Until next week, this is William Neal saying, have a great evening.